the Commanders' defense right now is a real mess. They're having lots of issues, and it's all the more scary with Jayden Daniels going down with his second injury that appears it could be for an extended period of time. There's no real kind of clear update on what his health situation is unless I missed something there. 44-22 loss to the funniest Cowboys team in the world, where they're just putting up a million points. Dak Prescott's at this like MVP level, and his defense is absolute dog ass. But because Mariota, he steps in this game, they're dealing with all their old man issues that was once a strength for them, having all that veteran leadership. How much of a worry should Commanders fans have about this season where things currently stand?
They should be worried. This is a rough stretch. This is a skid, a true sophomore slump. Jayden Daniels was so good in year one that teams needed to take him seriously in year two and actually scout him and game plan for him. Whereas last year it felt like, all right, this kid's crazy. Let's go out there, play our base and pray. No, this year they had some film work. They were ready. And it's almost, I see it almost as a badge of honor if you have a sophomore slump like this where you're just getting figured out. And that means now Washington has to figure some stuff out. This is the beautiful little chess game that happens along quarterbacks' careers to see what's the next thing they can improve on and develop. And right now, it is Jayden Daniels needing to be more of an elevator on offense for the wide receivers that he's working with. Terry's been hurt. Fat Debo, we've ran through the list before. Old-ass Zach Ertz. It's tough. He's going through it. The team is going through it. The defense, old. I told you all that this year was the last year of the old guard. It has to be. You can't get older. You just can't be. You have to get younger this year. It'll be a semi-fire sale after the season's end. And then we're going to see a white-hot, young, invigorated Commanders team that is just ready to go. Hopefully it's some guys that are stepping in for Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz, the lineman here or there. That'd be nice. But right now, they are in the shit, and they can't get out. I mean, this is a team that looks very different than what they looked like last year, which was exciting, shocking, surprising. Now it's a little repetitive there. Wow, that was a dull sequence. That was not something that they can't get any momentum. They can't find it, and that's a problem. You can't lose to the Cowboys either. You can't lose to this crazy-ass Cowboys team with an awful defense like that.
So I understand where you're coming from, and I do think that like there's obvious, clear issues with the Commanders' roster construction, but this is really one of those circumstances of the variance of some teams when they get banged up. Jayden Daniels was a hero for them last year, and now you're dealing with him in two stretches potentially this season where he's unavailable. I'm not trying to say Commanders fans need to just put their hands up in the air and say, we're done, we're screwed, this is over with. I don't know what the timeline is for Jayden Daniels' recovery, how long he's going to be out, but I don't think it's necessarily the end of the world if they're bad this year, they have an early pick, and then they use that pick to draft somebody important. This is the latest update that I found. He had an MRI on his hamstring, not significant or long term, but at the same time, a hamstring issue for Jayden Daniels does not feel like something I'd feel very excited about.
No, not with the amount that he runs. And this roster had turnover at key pieces. I think Jayden's gonna be fine. Just his ability to get acclimated to the NFL pace last year just leads me to be like, this is not an RG3 situation, which a lot of Washington fans, the toxic ones, are already trying to call it that and say, oh, not this story again. It's not. He plays so much differently than Robert Griffin III did. So I'm not worried about him down the long term.
RG3 was tiny. I don't think people realized how small RG3 is. I think he was like 6'1". And
he's shorter. Jayden's taller. And honestly, I thought the injuries that he would sustain in the NFL would be body blow injuries, like broken ribs, or my leg broke because I got hit too hard. Or
no, maybe RG3 is bigger than I gave him credit for. He's 6'2".
You know, I thought I saw Jayden Daniels happening was a crazy ass hit where he messes up his shoulder and he just falls wrong. Like that's what I see it as. Not muscle stuff with him. That's not something I'm worried about for him long term. Yeah, it's not good. No one's saying it's
Sean
good
over here.
But quarterbacks, I think he would be able to get by. Washington, their turnover came at some weird spots also. Like Benjamin St. Juste isn't on the team. People didn't like Benjamin St. Juste, but he played a role and he was always there, and sometimes he made big plays. Jonathan Allen was on that defense for like 9 years as the vocal leader and captain, and then they shipped him off. He did not get re-signed by Washington. So you're losing big pieces that may not have filled out the stat sheet that are being replaced by new guys. It feels like a team without a voice is what I'm trying to say. It feels like Daron Payne may need to step up and become a real leader on that defense. He makes good plays, but is he leading them? Is Bobby Wagner, who's there on his second year now, a guy that can get that team up? Or is it, hey, let's just go out there and do our jobs? Because doing our jobs right now isn't working. I believe in Dan Quinn. I believe in the offense. Most importantly, I believe in the ownership in Washington that has come in and changed everything for the better, to not let this thing actually skew back into the problem era.